like there's a little more action going on down here at the boatyard. It's a lovely day here today. It's nice and warm. And I'm going to get some cleaning done. Well, it's time for some spring cleaning, so we better get started. I just use my very old enyo cloth, which still does a good job. And this is Spanish cedar shelving. And that's looking a little bit better. Well, so far it's been a pretty good galley to work in. There's a little bit of spaced getting by one another. We have to plan that sometimes, but we don't have any problem doing that. It's worked well. And plenty of space for everything. And I've got it so things don't shift very much. Sometimes I put some towels between glass and cups and that kind of thing. Some of them tall glasses I got rid of too because they were a little bit too clangy. I've got rid of a few plastic or glass bowls and got some plastic ones. And these are cute, but they don't clang. And under the floorboards, I have rice and lentils and yellow split peas, so I keep some extra down there, and that works really well.
So today is boat tour day. A few of you have expressed some interest in getting to know a little bit more about our boat and how it's built and the interior and other details. So it's a wooden boat. It's Iroko planking on laminated Iroko frames. The stem is also laminated. It's about 4 inches square lamination that goes right from the bow all the way down to the keel. Everything, including the planking, is glued to the frames as well as glued together on the seams, as well as mechanically fastened. You know, it makes for a very strong hull. The planks can't move edgewise this way because they're glued together or glued to the frames, so it makes for a stiffer boat overall. The finish of the hull, the top sides, is tung oil based varnish. At this point now there's quite a few coats on here because every year I put 2 new build-up coats on, and so I think we're probably over 20 coats by now because it's been a number of years that I keep renewing those top coats. Below the water line, the finish is basically starts with the same, which is tung oil based varnish finish. Start with 50/50 thinned with turpentine, and I build up 5 coats, and then there's 4 coats of a marine primer, and then our anti-fouling paint. On this boat we have bronze chain plates mounted to the exterior, which is excellent for maintenance purposes and inspection purposes. I can very quickly see the condition that these are in. Here is the lead ballast keel. See the joint there. This is 7,500 pounds of lead ballast. And the boat itself is a total of about 14,700 pounds displacement. So the rudder on Eleutheros is hung right on the stern post, and it's pretty decent sized rudder, which is advantageous when you're sailing in light winds, or anytime the boat is moving very slowly in the harbor. You get good maneuverability that way. Bronze hardware for that, and I do have some zincs on the boat. These have been on there for 3 years. They've hardly had any corrosion to them, so, and I would expect that to be the case. The boat is completely bronze fastened. All the plank fasteners are bronze, all the keel fasteners are bronze, chain plates bronze. There's no dissimilar metals below the waterline. Through hull fittings are bronze, and you know, when that's the case, you get very little galvanic corrosion taking place. Overall, we have found that the boat performs quite well. Even in light winds, it's no trouble to get the boat going, you know, 3 or 4 knots. Being engineless gives us the advantage of not having propeller drag. So we'll continue our tour up on deck here, and up at the bow here, I've got 2 anchor rollers, and this hardware is all hardware that I made. And we have a 35-pound Mantis anchor for our main anchor, which has worked really well. Got through some storms with that. The standing rigging on the boat is all Dyneema rigging, and it's tensioned with dead eyes and lacings. I do have a turnbuckle on the head stay just so that I can increase or decrease the tension if needed. We have 100 feet of chain and 300 feet of nylon for our anchor rode. This mooring bit is made out of Nara, very hard and strong tropical hardwood. Our chain locker is up here on deck. Some of you might find that unusual, but it has the advantage of keeping all of the mud and water from going down a chain pipe into the boat. Some boats do have a locker below the deck forward. This way the chain is, you know, fairly far aft, and I'm not worried about the weight being higher up because I've saved a lot of weight in the rigging by using the Dyneema. On this side of the locker, I have a flexible water tank that goes in there, and it can gravity feed, or we can pump it. We have a pressure pump. So now the main mast, I have some reused antique bronze winches for the sheets, or for the halyards rather, and this is our secondary anchor, a 25-pound Danforth. And the gooseneck here, this is hardware that I made myself. And pretty standard wooden mast, external track, single spreader rig. Again, the Dyneema for the shrouds. The mast and the booms, they're all made from Spanish cedar. Yep, this is our wooden skylight. Puts a lot of nice light into that salon area of the boat down below.
And it opens up?
Yep, both sides open up. We have solar on the boat. That's our only source of power on the boat is solar. I have another 100-watt panel that I can set up on the foredeck or wherever I decide to set it. And we have a wood stove on the boat. This is the chimney from the wood stove, and bronze deck iron to keep the deck cool. We have permanent preventers mounted on both sides of the boat. We like that. It's something we don't have to rig up. It's always there, ready to use. It's just a nice added safety feature. These are our main sheet winches, and again, reused winches from another boat. There's a fair bit of hardware on the boat that's like that, the door aid vents, and over on the other side there. This is recycled from an old boat. This is from Lunenburg Foundry, and we're right here in Lunenburg, so it's come back to where it was manufactured.
About 50 years old?
Maybe more, who knows?
Yeah.
So the rigging is all tensioned with these dead eyes and Dyneema lacing. And down here there's a custom made fitting that I made for the lacings. These wooden stanchions are Nara.
It's probably quite hard.
Yeah. And the seating here is there's a storage space underneath them. I haven't built a seat back yet, which is something that's on my to-do list, and that will improve things back here, just having something to lean on. The tiller is hop horn beam with a lignum knob on the end, and I have this fitting for tying off the tiller or tying self-steering control lines in, and it just makes for a nice quick adjustment. The bronze fitting on the aft end of the tiller is recycled from, I believe, a Cape Dory 28. And I have a bracket there, which is for the oar lock for the large sculling oar. The mizzen mast itself is basically just a scaled down version of the main mast. The gooseneck fitting is identical. I could swap one to the other. We've got our compass down here. Lots of cleaning to do on this boat, and obviously a certain amount of paint and varnish work to do. I have a series of cleats along the side deck that are all one piece with the tow rail, and bolts that go through. They've been quite handy for a number of things, hanging fenders off of, and even for some of my control lines for the self-steering setup. So this is the forward V-berth area. Got our little hatch here. This is the most unfinished part of the boat. We have shelving built in here. Everything's very basic, but it works. At some point in time, I'll probably kind of renovate this and make it a little nicer space. You can see the inside of the hull here. We've got a bilge clamp, and you can see the inside of the planking, laminated frames. Up forward here you can see the stem and some floor timbers that connect the frames together, and up forward here you can see that post that comes through for the mooring bit. Some basic boards in here for the bunk, and some little bit of storage space underneath there.
And lots of storage under there.
And a sliding door. So the interior cabinetry is all finished with mostly maple, with the exception of the counter and the chart table, which is Jatoba. This main bulkhead panel, the panels are bird's eye maple. And we have this sliding doors for our lockers here. We have a couple of these plastic buckets that we store dry goods like flour and pasta and stuff like that we don't want to get damp. I redid the cushions this winter. There's new good quality foam, nice firm foam in there. And underneath here there's a couple storage spaces. This is actually meant to be used as a sit-down tub shower area. I'm just storing some stuff in there at the moment, and have these large floor timbers here, basically, that go all the way across the boat. They're bolted into the frames, one just behind the mast, one back here. That basically makes our tub enclosure.
Cedar.
This is Spanish cedar. They're both Spanish cedar. On the starboard side here, I've got wood locker for firewood for our little wood stove. And on the other side, we keep canned goods in there. Up in here, ahead of that tub space, there's more storage area. And you can see the mast step there, a large timber of a Rocco that is mortised into the front of that large floor timber, and the same at the front. There's another large floor timber that it's mortised into. These lockers with the sliding door, we keep our clothes in there. Doors, yeah, some of them are a little stiff. I have to adjust them a little bit, and then they'll get final sanding and tongue oil finish put on them. So we have midships. We have galley on the port side, chart table, and our wood stove with soapstone surround. This is the stovepipe for our little wood stove, and have this copper heat shielding that I made so it protects the wood. And of course there's the deck iron up there as well that you saw from outside. Our floorboards are Jatoba, and they lift out. There's room to store small items underneath the floorboards. Countertop is Jatoba, chart table is Jatoba, and again maple cabinetry. Basic deep sink with fresh water, salt water, and a ceramic filter for drinking water. So this area in the back of the boat is potentially usable for sleeping, although right now it's my tool locker. The companionway ladder hinged so we can get in and out of here. Now I've got, boxes full of fasteners and toolboxes and stuff like that. There's storage underneath here. Our main battery bank is underneath here as well, and there's a 100-liter water storage tank back there too. These are our port lights, and they are recycled from an old Chris Craft from the early 50s. Okay, so down here we have bilge pump and float switch. 2 bilge pumps in there, actually one little one, just kind of a backup, bigger one back in further. We also have a manual bilge pump on the boat, and that moves a fair bit of water too when required. So the electrical system is pretty simple on this boat, and I want to keep it simple.
Please like, subscribe, and comment. It really helps us out. Thanks for watching.